cat. Right? Now the rats saw the cat there, so this is all of a sudden being re-novelized, this area. It was once mapped and made secure, but the appearance of the cat there has thrown their plans for a loop. So what do the rats do? Well, the cat's disappeared, but they don't trust this area anymore because it was associated with the cat. So they do corner runs. The bravest of rats leaps out of his tunnel and runs right across a small area. And if he doesn't get killed, that's safe. So then he runs back, takes another chunk out of it. Safe.
And also we were doing things that were like very intense, like going onto a canoe for 5 hours on the Amazon River in the middle of the night. And like I remember there was like fish flying at us and like almost hit me in the face.
Getting him off the bottom was a little bit tough.
Yeah. We'll be eating good tonight.
Let's see, yeah. That's a big catfish.
Not a catfish.
Flying fish in the middle of the night. Hello everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Alexis. For anybody who doesn't know, welcome if you're new or welcome back if you have been here before. I am the author of A Journey into Truth, Unveiling Life's Secrets for Truth Seekers, and this book talks all about the last 6 years of my life, the adventures I've been on, like going into the jungle and doing ayahuasca. It also talks about some of the life lessons and philosophies I have learned along the way. So if you're interested in learning more about that book, you can visit my website, www.vibratecreate.com, or you can find me on Instagram at Vibrate2Create. Here on Vibrate to Create, I talk about all things spiritual and metaphysical. I make reaction videos to things like spiritual teachers, spiritual teachings, inspirational, motivational, and sometimes funny videos. And I also make entrepreneurial videos letting you guys know how to self-publish your own books. So if you're interested in that kind of content, then click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to be notified of when I post new videos so you never miss a video. When you subscribe, when you like my videos, when you comment, it is very helpful to help the channel grow, and therefore it helps me to make more videos that you guys can enjoy. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. So today I'm going to be doing a reaction video to Jordan Peterson again, but I had the idea that I wanted to do his very first video that he ever uploaded to YouTube, because I have not seen that, and I think that'd be interesting. So let's see how far he's come or how he's grown since the first video he ever posted. Let's do it.
I'm excited and I feel relaxed and I'm ready to party with the best of them.
So I found this video that says young Jordan Peterson telling stories about Looney Tunes and rats, and it was uploaded 3 years ago. Let's see. This looks interesting. He looks so young. Let's see what he has to say.
That's the mythological aspect. I want to read you a good story about rats, because I want to show you how deeply grounded these sorts of notions are. I want to tell you a little story first before I read this. I was watching a Bugs Bunny cartoon the other day with my kids, and you're probably more or less familiar with the Bugs Bunny cartoon characters. There's a sheepdog and a wolf, and they go to work in the morning, and the sheepdog's job is to guard the sheep, and the wolf's job is to eat them, and they punch the time clock in, and then they go into their respective roles. Anyways, the sheepdog is always beating the wolf up badly, and he gets the real rough end of the stick. Now, there's one scene there. The sheepdog is sitting on a cliff watching the sheep, and it's raining, and the wolf gets a bright idea. He's going to put hair tonic on the sheepdog's head, okay? And it's raining so that the sheepdog won't notice. So he sneaks up behind the sheep, and he puts hair tonic on his head, and hair grows down over his eyes. All right? Now, so the sheepdog's sitting there, and the wolf climbs up the cliff. And the first thing he does is he has a glove on a stick. So he's hiding behind the cliff, and he puts the hand on the stick, and he raises it in front of the sheepdog's face. No response. Now, that wolf is exploring unexplored territory, and it does it cautiously. It sticks his stick on there. Nothing happens. So then the next thing it does is it just pokes his head up and goes right down, and it looks. Nothing terrible happens. So then it climbs up on top of the cliff, and it waves its hand in front of the sheepdog. It's starting to smile now. It thinks it's pretty smart. Then it's jumping up and down and so on. Okay, so it's explored the territory. It's mapped it. Originally, the unexplored territory was anxiety-provoking. The wolf underwent a whole sequence of exploratory activities, mapped the territory, safe, so then it's off to steal a sheep. Okay, that's funny. It was funny because animators are great at picking out what we do and exaggerating them, so they're comical. That's exploring unknown territory. Okay. Most of the time when behavioral psychologists teach a rat to be afraid, and that's what they think they're doing, they take a rat that's secure. So they presume that the natural state of the rat is secure. But the only bloody reason the rat's secure is because it's already explored its cage. So you put a rat in a cage and it'll freeze because it's scared. And then if nothing terrible happens to it, it unfreezes, and then it slowly starts to explore, and it might just move its eyes first and sniff, and then if nothing terrible happens, it starts to move, and soon it checks out the whole cage, and if nothing is in there that's going to kill it, it has a nap or whatever. Maybe it looks for some food, but it has to explore before it's secure. Now, more modern animal psychologists, ethologists, are starting to study the reactions of things like rats in their natural habitat, and that's what this story is about. So you take a rat, rats, they're social, set them up in a burrow, and they let them set up their burrow, and they map out their territory by exploring. So they have this whole burrow system set up, and the rats know it. Nothing's dangerous there. That's home. Put a cat in one section of it. Okay, that's this story. When a cat is presented to an established mixed-sex group of laboratory rats living in a visible burrow, the behaviors of the subjects change dramatically. In many cases, for 24 hours or more. The initial active defensive behavior, flight to the tunnel chamber system. So the rats are cruising along where they think it's safe, and there's a cat. Well, it's like home into the burrow. It's followed by a period of immobility during which the rats make 22 kilohertz ultrasonic vocalization, which apparently serve as alarm cries at a high rate. So they're, to put it, they're freaked out fundamentally. They run home and scream. They're frozen. And they scream. Like, they must be screaming something like, oh no, there's a cat. And all the other rats hear this, and they're all in their burrows. They're terrified. They're frozen into immobility by the appearance of this unexpected thing. As freezing breaks up, it's interesting to think of a good myth. This Perseus and the Gorgon. Show the face of the Gorgon. It's this female head that's covered with snakes. That's an image of the unknown. That thing turns you to stone. Anyways, as freezing breaks up, proxemic avoidance of the open area gradually gives way to a pattern of risk assessment of the area where the cat was encountered. Okay, so the rats are frozen, and they think, you know, oh no, death is around the corner. They don't precisely think that, but that's how they act. And if nothing happens that's also terrible, well, they start to relax a little bit. And as soon as they start to relax, the circuitry, like they're very curious about this unexpected occurrence, but they're overwhelmed by anxiety. They don't do any exploring. They run back and make sure that nothing terrible happens, just like that wolf did with the sheepdog. They run back, and as their anxiety recedes, their curiosity starts to predominate. So they go back to the open area. Subjects poke their heads out of the tunnel openings to scan the open area where the cat was presented for minutes or hours before emerging. So they're like watching. This is new territory now. There was not supposed to be a cat there, so let's just see what happens. So they're watching and watching and remapping the territory. When they do emerge, their locomotory patterns are characterized, well, they kind of run flat, so they can't be seen. But the thing that's really neat is they do short corner runs. I think this is so interesting. So you think, here's the area that the cat was seen, okay? So it's like, cat. Right? Now the rats saw the cat there, so this is all of a sudden being re-novelized, this area. It was once mapped and made secure, but the appearance of the cat there has thrown their plans for a loop. So what do the rats do? Well, the cat's disappeared, but they don't trust this area anymore because it was associated with the cat. So they do corner runs. The bravest of rats leaps out of his tunnel and runs right across a small area. And if he doesn't get killed, that's safe. So then he runs back, takes another chunk out of it. Safe. Other rats are doing the same thing. Soon, if there's no cat, the whole area is mapped again. These risk assessment areas appear to involve active gathering of information about possible danger sources, providing a basis for a gradual return to non-defensive behaviors. Active risk assessment is not seen during early post-cat exposure, but rises to a peak about 10 hours later. These rats are scared. Non-defensive behaviors such as eating, drinking, and sexual and aggressive activity tend to be reduced over the same period. That's because the anxiety system just predominates. You don't think about anything else when there's a cat around. So it's such a great story because you get an idea of how the rats universe is set up. It's like there's known territory and then there's unknown territory. And when known territory can turn into unknown territory as soon as something unpredictable happens. And when something unpredictable happens, That whole area is made novel again, and the rats have to undergo this very complex pattern of exploratory activity to make their territory secure again. So that's quite interesting.
That is interesting. So fun to see him much younger. I wonder if it says when this was filmed. It says, psychology professor Dr. Jordan B. Peterson tells us 2 stories to illustrate the change between the anxiety-provoking unknown and the safety of the mapped-out territory. So let's talk a little bit about something. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but we're going to see how this unfolds. So, the unknown. So in my book, I talk about embracing the unknown. I've had quite a few moments in time in my life where I embraced the unknown and I dove into the unknown, and that ended up being one of the best experiences I've ever had. So things like when I went traveling by myself and I embraced the unknown, and I was afraid to like get on a plane for the first time by myself or to be in a new place by myself. Like, it was so scary. But in each moment where you, like you were saying with the rats, like when in each moment where you push yourself a little farther, and then you say, okay, I made it, I'm alive. And then you can push yourself a little farther the next time, and you can push yourself a little farther the next time. Obviously you want to be safe, but pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, I think, is such an important piece of living a fulfilled life. Like, I think there are so many people who hold themselves back, and that's another part of my book, is I talk about the bobcat in the bushes.
Panther. Damn. Bobcat. Bro, you have fish.
So I was on a hike. I'm gonna come back to what I was talking about, but I'm talking about the bobcat in the bushes now. So I was on a hike and I was thinking to myself, what would I do if a bobcat came and ran at me? Like, what would I do? How would I protect myself? And then I was thinking, oh, maybe I would use my water bottle, because I had like a metal water bottle with me. Maybe I would use that as a weapon. Or maybe I would run, or maybe there would be a person and they would help me. Or maybe, you know, all these different ideas of solutions of what would I do if that happened. And then I thought to myself, this eventually led me to the conclusion that so many people are afraid of the bobcat that's in the bushes, and they stop themselves from actually going out into the unknown and going out and doing brand new things. It stops them from actually going on a hike, so they stay where it's safe. And I've found in my own life that staying in safety, or staying in what you already know, it leads to such a, for myself at least, it leads me to such unhappiness, and I feel so contained and like I'm not growing. And I think for me, that's been my purpose, is to keep growing and to keep evolving and to keep becoming a better person and a better version of myself, and to never stop growing. And if you look at nature, like, that's just the natural process of life, is you become a baby and then you grow and you become a toddler and you become a teenager and then you become an adult and then you become an older person. So it's like a natural process of moving forward and keeping on your journey of more and more and more of yourself. And so for me, I've really made it a point to step out of my comfort zone and to, like, when I went into the jungle and did ayahuasca, like, that was a big step for me, because I was going into a country, I was going to be doing ayahuasca, which is scary in and of itself. And also we were doing things that were like very intense, like going onto a canoe for 5 hours on the Amazon River in the middle of the night. And like, I remember there was like fish flying at us and like almost hit me in the face.
Getting him off the bottom was a little bit tough.
Yeah? We'll be eating good tonight.
Let's see, yeah, it's a big catfish.
Not a catfish.
Flying fish in the middle of the night and like being so scared, but then at the end of the trip, and also being so scared to do ayahuasca, and then at the end of the trip being so grateful that I took that trip, so grateful that I took that leap of faith, because it led to so many beautiful awarenesses about myself. It led to, and also traveling has led to so much confidence in myself, and confidence in, like he was saying, like when you push those boundaries just a little bit, like you can go even farther the next time. So many of us really hold ourselves back from living such a fulfilled life because we're sitting there thinking, there's a cat at the end of the tunnel, and so I'm not gonna move at all. But I think that courage to at least take a little corner of the side and say, okay, this is safe, and then take another little corner of the side and say, okay, this part is safe. And like going out and doing things by myself, like that was a stretch at the very beginning, and I would be like, you know, afraid that people were thinking I look weird because I'm by myself, like who is that girl by herself? And like I would go to the movies by myself, and then that was my little corner. And then I would go to a garden by myself, and that was a new little corner. And like pushing myself out of my comfort zone has led me to have so much more faith to be able to take much bigger steps. And that led to me going into my speaker training classes and like getting out of my comfort zone to be able to speak in front of lots of people. And like none of the things that I'm doing currently, like even making these videos or writing my book, none of those things would be possible if I didn't take all those tiny steps and go check out all those little corners, and like go and meet at different meetup groups and different spiritual gatherings, and like get out of my comfort zone in that way, and get out of my comfort zone of the ideas I had already understood about spirituality, and like learning about new things. The growth is so gradual that you don't realize how much you've grown until you look back and you're like, holy crap, I used to be afraid to go into the movie theater, and now I'm standing in front of a bunch of, like a big old audience of people acting like a fool and not caring what anybody thinks. And it's like, oh, that is freedom. That is true freedom, to be completely authentic and completely your biggest goofy idiot self, and to not care if people are judging you, and to be authentic and to be free, and to dance on a dance floor by yourself, and to just live life the way it's supposed to be meant to be lived. So sorry, it's a little bit loud, the neighbors are out. If we learn anything from this video, what I would say is it's so important to get out of your comfort zone, to begin a business if you want to begin it, like I'm doing here. I'm making videos, and you know, I have a book out, and who knows where this will lead. And then I can look back at this video and be like, dang, I didn't even know where I was going to be headed. I guess what we can learn from this specific story that young Jordan Peterson was talking about is to allow yourself and to push yourself to grow in life, and to get out of your comfort zone, and to change, to transform, to be a different person, to try new things, to meet new people, to start a business if you want to start it, or if you want to be a public speaker, like go taking classes, or if you want to be a writer, to start writing your book, and to start going to groups and like meeting up with other writers and getting critiques, and just get out of your comfort zone and go travel and go see new things and go meet people and try something you've never tried before, and then just allow yourself to grow and to seek and search every little corner, and then realize that you've grown so much because you decided to allow yourself to see new territory. And I think as humans, like, we're just very like wired to see new things and to become more and to do more. I think it's just our nature and the nature of the human or physical nature in itself. Like a flower is never going to stay a seed if you plant it and carefully take care of it, right? Like it's its natural nature to want to progress and evolve and grow. So if you look at yourself like that, it's like, it makes sense that we seek out new territory and we'll feel really stuck and stagnant and live a really hard life if we don't allow ourselves to keep growing. So that's my take on this little video of Jordan Peterson. It was very cute to see him all tiny and little, and it made me think too, like, man, imagine what I'm gonna look like, or how I'm gonna be speaking when I get much older. Maybe I'll be the same, maybe I'll be different, but I'll look different for sure. I'll have different experiences, and I'll be evolving even more, hopefully. So yeah, it was cool to see that. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. I hope you got something from it. I hope it inspired you to Go out and try something brand new. Be safe. Be smart. And also just push yourself a little. And live a good life. Because that's why we're here. What's the point if you're not having fun? What's the point if you're not growing? Not necessarily not having fun, because sometimes the struggle and the hardship is what helps us to grow and helps us to evolve and become brand new as well. So not necessarily always about having fun, but allowing yourself to get better than you were before, to become newer. So yes, thank you so much for joining me today. If you have anything you'd like for me to react to or any questions, you can leave those down in the comments below for me. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you got something from it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.
Moose! Moose! Frog. What? Frog. Frog. Tuesday.